Okay, so this is part 2 of my final exam, the more personal question and answers. Question 1, how have you grown as a learner throughout the course of this semester? And I feel, as a person, I am less accepting of everything that is handed to me, and I'm more reluctant to accept it as the full and honest 100% truth. It is so easy to just sit and listen to a teacher and just go with what they say, which is why I've kind of liked this course, because it is not about Mrs. Shriey standing in the front of the classroom and telling us how to feel or telling us how to digest a certain material. It's more Miss Shriey handing out some material and having us read it individually or off in pairs and figuring out how we feel about it ourselves, and then telling each other how we interpreted it in our own standpoint. What is the most important idea or argument that was generated in this semester's discussions, and can you explain this concept in your own words? I feel like the most important one is that maybe the teacher isn't always right, and you are not always right as an individual either, because your teacher might look at it from a way that she has been taught from somebody else, and with what I just said, like, not every teacher is always right, and you can always have different perspectives, which is why the second one, you're not always right. Somebody else can look at it from a completely different way that you've never looked at it before and shed a whole new type of light that you never even thought about looking at it. I was the type of person that always thought, I'm always right, my answer is always right, but I'm not. In this class, it's kind of helped me sit back and be more of a listener instead of a talker. Why is this the most important concept, and how does it apply to your world as a whole? It's just going to make me a better and more well-rounded person and individual for future encounters that I meet with people. I feel as if when you meet somebody that is more open to what you have to say, then it's going to battle you to the death that they are right, you'll be a more likable person. All in all, it is okay to disagree with somebody, but the way that you disagree can be polite, and instead of just saying you're right just because, you have to find out the reason why you are right, and maybe the reason why you cannot be right, because as I said before, everybody is going to shed a different light on every type of situation, and you have to be accepting of it. How do you think this issue is viewed by those with whom you disagree? Some people might say that if a teacher tells you this is what it is and this is how you should read it, that you need to listen to your teacher. And I do think that as students, we need to listen to our teachers, but we also need to be intact with our own thoughts and our personal views as well. Like, if we feel something is not right, we should never hesitate to investigate something, or to not argue, but challenge somebody. That might be sounding a little rebellious, but AMP. But you should always remember that to be respectful in your arguments, but if you have an argument and you have a case, then your word is worth, you can't put a price on your word, and you can't really put a price on your education. Nobody can take your education away from you, so you should utilize it. And when you're in a classroom, utilize your options. How will you use what you learned in this course outside of the four walls of our classroom? Basically, like I said, all in all, it'll make you more of a likable person to be able to agree and to be able to disagree in a polite way. And for future endeavors in the classroom, you don't just sit there and accept everything. You be active, be an active learner, an active reader in what you do. And don't just be somebody that takes up space in a classroom.